Guys, hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am Geneva. This is Geneva in general. Today, guys, I want to come off the script a little bit when it comes to my video topics. Now, I've had this particular video in mind for about 5 days now, but in light of what just happened, either New Year Eve or New Year Eve Day, January 1st, 2025, with the terrorist attack that just happened in New Orleans, I said, it's no better time for me to do this video than now. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna title this video. Guys, just try to be patient with me. My mind likes to jumble around. It's just like, the reason why I did this YouTube channel, right? But I want to just start off by saying, if you guys are familiar with X-Men, it was a comic book about the superheroes, the villains. And X-Men, again, I used to watch it with my older sister when I was a kid. And even as a child, I never understood why we root for the hero so much. And we kind of just like demonize and just set the so-called villain to the wayside. Again, guys, forgive me for my freaking, bad memory. I have to do a little bit of research to make sure I'm getting my facts right. But to summarize it up, right, in X-Men, you have, of course, you have the hero versus the villain. Professor X is a freaking bum and a simp, okay? He wants to coexist peacefully with human beings as mutants, right? Again, like the people in X-Men, they're mutants, right? They're not ordinary human beings. They're human beings with like super, extraordinary powers, okay? Superpowers. So you got Professor X want to be a simp for the human beings and humanity and right for them. But his opposer, right? The villain, people will call him the villain or the anti-villain. I see him as a hero. You got Magneto, okay? Magneto came up during the Holocaust. He saw his people being like, just, murdered and, just done all types of ways. And he was like, I've seen what human beings have done, one to like, my people, Jewish people. And then he sees like, as human beings, the humans are out here trying to, exterminate the mutants. They want to, do operations on us. They want to study us. They want to prim and prob us, put us under microscopes. They want to, marginalize us, enslave us. They don't have like, good human beings don't have a good relationship with mutants because they fear them, but at the same time they kind of see themselves in some ways superior to mutants. And they don't want to coexist peacefully with the mutants. They want to just experiment on them, kind of use their powers for their own selfish reasons and gains, and just like pretty much like criminalize the mutants. And of course, Professor X is like, what? We need to coexist peacefully with these people. And Magneto is like, no, that makes no sense. Like, these people are trying to harm us as mutants, okay? And again, you have Professor X. He wants to be, on some, like, social politics. Like, a lot of people will call it these days, like, the woke crowd. Oh, Professor X only wanted, like, the good mutants to represent all mutants, okay? So some mutants, of course, in X-Men, they use their powers for good because they're not evil. They try to do the right thing with their powers. And then you have some mutants that was just crazy. It's like, I have this super strength. I have this ability that the regular human beings, the mere mortals, don't have. I'm going to use this to my advantage. I don't care who I harm, hurt, maim, kill, destroy. I don't care. I'm going to get mines. So Professor X, he sees this. He's like, what? I'm going to try to give us some good press. I'm going to try to make it seem as though, like, not all mutants is bad. I'm going to just try to put the good mutants to the forefront, okay? Magneto is not with this. And I'm sorry, but I'm at this point in my life, like, I don't want to make this video sound morbid or like, like, Geneva, what's wrong with you? How could you say this about humanity? I'm going to just tell you how I feel about human beings personally, okay? This is just me. Like, when you see that meme or like those t-shirts that have that saying like, Thanos was right. Thanos was only half right. You're like, what do you mean? What I mean is like when he snapped his fingers by putting on those 5 crystals, that wasn't enough. Those 5 rings, that wasn't enough. See, where Thanos messed up is he thought that just, wiping off half the world's population would be good. Everything would be fair and balanced. No. Humanity is not about nothing. Can we be honest again? What just happened? Imagine you trying to ring in the new year. Okay, it's only not even a few hours into the new year, and you get mowed down like nothing because some idiot. And it's some more detail. I don't even pay it no more mind. It's just a bunch of nonsense. They saying like he was an army veteran. I don't care. He mowed these people down in the crowd in New Orleans, just trying to celebrate, trying to make it into the new year. You cannot tell me, knowing what we know, okay, if you're ignorant, or I don't want to call y'all ignorant, okay, we all can share our opinions in the comments, okay? But be honest, knowing what we know now as adults, the racism, the genocide, sexism, slavery, sexual slavery, cannibalism, human beings, we produce more evil than good, okay? And Thanos was halfway right when he said, I'm just going to eliminate I'm going to demolish half the population. But that ain't enough. If I was him, if I had the power, I would completely wipe out all of humanity, including myself. Why? Because human beings, we are not a good species. So going back to like Magneto versus Professor X, again, I'm riding with Magneto, even as a little kid. I swear to God, even as a child, when I would watch these superhero movies, I'm like, the heroes is low key corny. I'm low key rooting for the villain. This is why a lot of people liked Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, that came out in '08. Beautiful film, okay? May he rest in peace. I can't remember the name of the actor who played that role. He played Batman in 2008. That movie, The Dark Knight Rises. I forgot his name. It'll come back to me. I'll just insert it. But he did a phenomenal job in that role. And what really, again, like that came out in '08. I was 13 in 8th grade. Okay, but what I really liked about that movie and what I respected about it, and I think this is what a lot of people liked about it, where reality was reality. Okay, it wasn't like, the good guy's gonna come through, save the day, beat up the bad guy, and run off into the sunset with a pretty girl. No. The pretty girl, okay, she got slimed out. Okay, remember when he was like, is it heads or tails? Choose one. I believe the Joker had gave Batman you can only save one. He tried to save the little pretty girl, but really he had switched them up. He had switched them, okay, around. Really, what had happened was the girl ends up, getting slimed out in an explosion, a fiery explosion, and he has to save, who later on became Two-Face. Okay, he only half of his face was burnt up, and again, I was like, I respected that. Like, let it be reality. I can't stand movies these days where the good guy always wins, because if you just look at humanity, if you look around, if you look at yourself, your own life, your family, your friends, the good guy does not win in reality. That's why, like, nowadays, maybe because I am an adult now, obviously, I can't watch too many. I don't care if it's Marvel universe. I don't care if it's Marvel or DC Comics. I was like, they all two sides of the same coin. Meaning, like, they want to prop up the hero, the good guy, Superman, Batman. All these people, Aquaman, and they want to demonize and villainize and kind of like set aside and kind of just overall just dismiss the villain. Like, wait a minute, like they got a storyline too. That's why we have this saying, like, this little funny haha. This will be my villain origin story. Why? Because every villain literally has an origin story. Nobody just wakes up one day and just decides to be evil. People, I would say, in some ways that they're not. Human beings are kind of like, we're not born evil. We have to go through a process. Now, of course, I'm not, just justifying people who are like murderers, thieves, and pedophiles and stuff like that. But I'm saying is, like, when you see somebody such as, like, an X-Men, someone such as Magneto, okay, there's a lot of pain and hurt and turmoil that this man has experienced that got him to where he is. And it's like, instead of just being dismissive of him and the rest of the villains, okay, whether they DC or Marvel Universe, I don't care, okay. These villains, they have a reasoning behind the madness, okay? It's a method to the madness. Again, that's why we call it the villain origin story. And it's like, how come us as the audience, the viewers, we don't even try to see it their way? Again, Magneto was right. Human beings were going to always try to exercise dominance, try to, exert their authority in all types of evil ways against the mutants, because that's just how human beings are. It's in our nature. I'm riding with Magneto 100%. Professor X is a simp. They always say, like, Magneto always positioned himself to be like a mutant savior. He just wanted what's best for his kind. They say, like, the way that he wanted to go about it. But I'm like, well, but what about the human beings? What about the way that we go about it and how we treat the mutants, how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves? Like, come on, guys. If you watch the X-Men, I don't really read comic books, but if you just read the comic books, but specifically watch the movies from the early 2000s, Professor X, like, if I watch it now as an adult, because as a kid, he used to just annoy me. I'm like, dog, this dude is literally like suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Guys, comment down below if you agree with me or not. Again, I don't really care. Just, let's just keep it respectful. But again, what just happened with this whole terroristic, mess that just went down in New Orleans? This has had me this just made me have to do this video. I'm like, you know what? Magneto was right. From now on, I'm rooting for the villains. Humanity ain't about nothing. Okay, if I had the power of Thanos, if I could just put on some rings, snap my finger, it wouldn't just be 50% of the world's population gone. It would be 100% gone.